I'm just waiting notification. And this means a lot to myself and man, some people. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us today who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. And that is none other than the legendary actor, Mr. Harry Lennix. First of all, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. The first question, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewer and audience, we thank you. So many people reached out to me because growing up, my mother, Sharifa Muhammad, was big into theater, and her working with Sister Winifred in the productions. I grew up on the set. That's how I got into acting. And you worked with my mother on Macbeth and worked with Sister Winifred. What is your love from theater? Like, how did you get a love for theater?
Well, you're bringing up a lot of names that are very dear to me, and of course, as is the theater itself, and as is that play. But I guess my first connection with the theater was I saw my brother when I was 10 years old. He was in 8th grade and I was in 2nd grade, and I saw him do a part that where he played a gangster on the street corner, and I was so convinced that I thought it was like a magic trick, and I knew from that point. I said, man, I can do that trick. I can learn how to do that. And so that was really the start. It was very early.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. And I have first of all, my sister Naima says, peace, family, assalamu alaikum. Okay, my next question for you is, what do you get tired of people coming up to you referring to, calling you by movie characters? Does that ever annoy you?
You know what? No, it does not bother me in any way. For me, it makes me think that, if they were only calling me one person, for example, like if they just say, hey, dresser, or but all praise is due to Allah. I've done very many different kinds of parts. So now I get a lot of people saying, hey, Cooper, because they think I'm the blacklist. So I get, a pretty big range of stuff. And it just means to me that I guess I did a convincing job. So I take it as a compliment.
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite roles is him, and of course, everybody's gonna say dresser because we love Five Heartbeats. But you are a part of the DCU and Man of Steel, Justice League. What is that like to be a part of that world?
Brother Joshua, I have to tell you, I never thought that I would. There was a rumor that was going around the internet that said that it must be that General Swanwick, the character I played in Man of Steel. It must be that he's the Martian Manhunter because he never shrinks away from Superman when he comes up to the two-way glass. He breaks out of his handcuffs and he walks up to the glass. And they said he seems to not be surprised or in any way intimidated. There might be something more to this guy. So I knocked it back. I didn't think that there was anything to it because I thought they would have told me if they intended for me to play Martian Manhunter. Now, this is a pretty intricate story. What happened was that Zack Snyder, my friend, was replaced on the directing job of the Justice League. He was replaced by a guy I worked with named Joss Whedon, another guy I had worked with, but I wasn't in the Justice League at all. But the fans were so insistent that Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League be seen and be released that it worked. And so Warner Brothers agreed to let him do it. And he wanted to have a pretty big presence for the Green Hornet, but and he wanted me to do a little cameo as the Martian Manhunter, just a real quick little turn.
Yes, sir.
But Warner Brothers wouldn't let him do the Green Hornet in Justice League, and so he put in another scene with the Martian Manhunter, and so I really got a chance to cement my version of that character. Fortunately, they had a bunch of animators go in and fix up my body. And my faithfulness. So anyway, it's great. It was one of those things that you don't expect that actually just happened. So I have to give credit to Zach, and I have to thank the fans for making it happen.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. And we just have a few more questions for you. My sister Miriam says, thank you both for this iconic interview. And she says, peace as well. I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to future actors, or not future actors, but actors now, as far as going from theater into film?
Well, yes, but first of all, Sister Miriam, I just want to let her know that Miriam is probably my favorite name in the Bible. Is Elizabeth and Miriam. That was Mother Mary's original name, was Miriam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of course, Joshua was one of my favorite names too. That was Jesus's name. His name actually comes as a derivation from Yeshua, of course.
Yes, sir.
Same. Anyway, I give the advice that from 2 Timothy, which says, "Study to show thyself approved unto the Lord. A workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And so whenever somebody says that they want to be an apprentice, or they want to learn, they want to take up the study of a craft, such as acting. It's a craft, and any craft can be learned, Brother Joshua. It's not like a talent is something that is given to, by God to a person, a kind of innate ability to do something, a knack for something, but a craft can be learned. And so I think of acting as that. If you put in the time, it's just like I said earlier about learning that magic trick. If you put in enough time working a deck of cards, you can eventually start doing sleight of hand tricks and doing the pinky break and the thumb break and all kinds of stuff. And it's the same thing with acting. Acting, I think we first have to understand what acting is. Acting is the ability, like a trick, like a magic trick, to have a cause and effect without any causal link. You don't see the link between how the thing that it was before, let's say the actor taking on a part, and the character that they will become.
Yes, sir.
And so that is where the craft comes in. How do you convince somebody that what you're saying is the truth, or that you can turn into a completely different person? How can you be from the South Side of Chicago in one breath, and then you put on a wig and make your voice a little different, or stand a little different, walk different, and you turn into a different person in a whole different circumstance in life? And so those things can be learned, and they're very technical, mechanical things. The actor only ever has their voice in their body. And so sufficiently trained, made sufficiently flexible, anybody can become a very good actor.
Phenomenal. Okay, we have 2 more questions for you, sir. But I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast who are I'm so grateful to keep going with the sponsorship so we can bring you all great guests like this. If you all like to be a sponsor or donor, please Cash App to the People's Podcast. Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody on Facebook, as I can't wait to put this on YouTube. So many of my friends from Naperville, outside of Chicago, are going to be so excited that I got to interview you, sir. And okay, here we go. We got 2 more questions. I just want to get to the sponsorships. Here we go. Boom. My sister said I give them anxiety every time I share my screen, but they'll be okay. All right, here we go. All right. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. My other sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Conflict mediation, Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad, squashing the beef in the communities. He does an amazing job in the Southwest region. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, Children of the Most High, Giving Birth to a God in the Science of Child Rearing. Please go get that book. We're coming right back to our guest, Sister Sherry Muhammad, Asiatic Minds Online, a virtual school that teaches STEM to young kings and queens all across the country, asiaticminds.com. Please support her. Fashion Guides, what is streetwear and clothing for urban young men and boys. 914-329-8009. We're coming right back to our guest. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the country. Also, Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, Down is Not Out, both of which are available at abdulsharif.com. And last but not least, my 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. All right, right back to our amazing guest, our brother Harry Lennix. My next question for you, sir, is what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, that's a very deep question for me right now, because I think I'm in the process of building it. And it's called the Lillian Marcy Center for the Performing Arts. And the museum, which will actually populate that building, is called the African American Museum for the Performing Arts, and where we want to be an archive of the rich history of our brothers and sisters in the United States of America and in the New World, of their performance history, from dance to theater to spoken word, hermeneutics, music, orchestral music, and vocal music. So we really want to give access to and make permanent, really, to give a permanent record of these great contributions right there in the city of Chicago, where much of it was born, on the South Side. And so that's the Lillian Marcy Center for the Performing Arts. And that will be, we hope to open in about a year and a half. So sometime in 2023, maybe as early as the spring, maybe as late as the fall of 23, look for that to come, and look for the 5 disciplines in the performing arts that we will be chronicling and archiving, which is dance, music, theater, television, and hermeneutics, or spoken, the ability to do oratory, that kind of thing. So that's what I want my legacy to be. And I got a lot of help in that regard. It takes a big team, but this is a worthy endeavor. And the best thing is that it's not just about me, it's about all of us and our collective contributions to this only indigenous art form in the United States of America.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. And coming to our last question, you get so much love on Facebook. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. I just want to let you know, if you're friends with, you say good friends with Zack Snyder and all of these people, if you're looking for an up and coming actor named Joshua Leonard Muhammad, I'm just throwing it out there, just let you know we'll stay connected. I'm just throwing it out there. My next question for you, sir, is who do you want? What role was the most challenging for you?
Well, I think that I think I've thought about this for, from time to time, and it varies as you get more experience. It gets, it's like being a piano player. At first you think that Mozart is difficult, and it is. But then you get into somebody like Rachmaninoff, and that gets very difficult. And then, of course, Franz Liszt is supposed to be. So for me, it was Shakespeare, and doing Othello was very difficult. Othello, Aaron the Moor. But then I started doing the work of August Wilson, the great Black playwright from Minneapolis, actually originally from Pittsburgh. And so doing the part that I did on Broadway of Harmon Wilkes in Radio Golf was probably the most recent challenging thing I've had to do. It's a very difficult part. So.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. We don't want to take up more of your time. I just want to let you know that it means so much to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast that you came on. Thanks, everybody in the comments. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Well, alaikum salam, bro. Great to talk.